Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. This is the City of Meridian Solid Waste Advisory Commission regular meeting for Wednesday, June 27th, 2018. It is 4:03, and we'll start with roll call. Indicate if you're present. Cheryl Caldwell.
Here.
Mark Nelson.
Here.
Steve Corey, here. Carrie Glenn, absent. Dave Neal, absent. Megan Larson.
Here.
Andrea Pogue.
Here.
Scott Walters.
Here.
Victoria Madrigal.
Here.
And ex officio members, Councilwoman Genesis Milam.
Here.
And Rochelle Klein. Quorum being present, we'll move on to approval of the agenda. Are there any comments on the agenda or motions?
Mr. Chair, I would move to approve the agenda as written.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the agenda be approved as written. Are there further comments? Sensing the commission is ready for a vote, all those in favor of approving the agenda as written signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. The motion passes. Thank you. Next, we have approval of minutes. There are minutes from the May 25th regular meeting and the May 31st special meeting. Are there any comments or motions?
Mr. Chair, I would move to approve the minutes from the May 25th, 2018 meeting and the special meeting on May 31st, 2018 as written.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the minutes from the May 25th and May 31st meetings be approved as written. Are there further comments? Sensing the commission is ready for a vote, all those in favor of approving the minutes as written signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion passes. Thank you. With that, we move on to old business. The first item being 5A, the annual Public Works Expo from June 7th, 2018 in the SWAC booth. Closeout discussion. Meg Larson.
Thank you. So it was a good event again this year. Lots of people in attendance. I would say we had a steady flow of people coming to our table, especially when the rain came down and filled the lobby. The recycling activity that we did was focused on plastics specifically, and so we got to talk with a lot of folks about the plastics that can and can't be recycled. Just from the conversations that I had, anecdotally, I would say there's still a lot of confusion out there about what can and can't be recycled, lots of questions. But I think folks are also very interested in doing recycling correctly and trying to understand what they're supposed to do. So that's all I had. I think I don't have any suggestions toward major changes or anything for next year.
I noticed a lot of people, Meridian people were interested in the orange bag. They had knowledge of the orange bag program, and they wanted to know what we were going to do. So.
Good input. And Meg, yes, it came off very comfortably, and I do appreciate you taking responsibility for putting that on. You did very well. Members of the commission, any questions for Meg or any comments? Very good. Then we'll move on to item 5B, the Community Recycling Fund. Item 1, Recycle a Bicycle event. Banner proposal and related costs. Cheryl Caldwell.
Mr. Chairman, I passed out papers that I got in quotes from two places, two sign people. I noticed it does say for the bicycle event. This, and Genesis and I agreed that we should get something that's just for the Solid Waste Advisory Commission, not just for the bike event. And so that's what I did. I took the logo from Scott and Andrea and got 2 quotes. The one, Signs Etc. gave me examples, which Image 360 did not. And Image 360 is a little more expensive, since we're only getting 1 banner.
And they're Boise.
Uh,
And they're in Boise.
I thought Signs Etc. was a little, they were very excited to help us too. They're in Meridian, so I thought that was good. The only question would be, do we want it 5 feet long or 4 feet long, 1.5 feet or wide, 4 or 5 feet wider, and then 1.5 feet or 2 feet deep, or whatever, however it works. So, I think they said the 5 by 2 fits good on a table, like if we put it in front of a table of whatever event we were doing. So, and that one would run 68.52.
Bigger, better.
Whereas Image 360 was $77. And that's not even. 77.
But that's still for 48 inches.
Yeah, and that was for the smaller one, right?
Mhm.
So, my opinion would be that we go for the 5'2".
That is my
If
preference.
if that's, I don't have a lot of knowledge in sizes, but that was what she thought would be the best size for a table or a display. So, that's my recommendation.
Do I turn that into a motion?
That's what I was gonna say. So my motion is that we go with Signs Etc. for our 5 by 2 City of Meridian Solid Waste Advisory Commission display banner.
Mr. Chair, sorry.
Councilwoman.
Second that first.
Oh, well,
Better.
I second.
okay, it's been moved and seconded, so comments?
So, Mike, I guess my comment would be, and I don't know if you asked, Cheryl, but my recommendation would be to get 2 of those, and maybe they would give you a discount if you did 2 of the exact same thing. And my only thoughts are, if you're at an event, sometimes you want to put one on either side or somewhere nearby to. I think the price is very reasonable. You might be able to get a discount on a second one, or if you can't, just get one and try it, and you could always go back and get another one if it's the same price. And the only reason I would say get 2 is if you get a discount. So,
Yeah. I didn't ask about that, because I thought at first we just tried the one. And I wanted to make sure everybody was on board with this logo and the way it's laid out.
looks great.
Because we had the other one, Andrew, you sent me.
Right, the recycle a bicycle.
Hand in hand we recycle.
Just recycle a bicycle, which was Scott's. And he could take anything off of that,
Do you guys prefer that logo or this?
But-
This one, I thought we could use it more events.
Hence, yeah, that's what I thought we
or
decided.
Besides bicycles.
Right.
So,
I think generic is better, and you're right. We've had a couple cases we had to divide and conquer
yeah,
on weekends, and we only one banner.
oh, that's right.
Mr. Chair,
It's reasonable to have 2.
if you want to table this just for a few minutes, I'll go make a phone call.
Okay,
That's okay with you? Yeah, and I'll just ask them if they'll give a discount, and it's up to you. If not, then you can still get 1 or 2, or you still might want 2. If you do, I guess if the commission decides they want 2, you can do a not to exceed amount, whatever double this amount is, and still try to get a discount. Because it's a not to exceed amount anyway. And then I don't need to find that out right now. But if you only want 2, if there's a discount, then I need to go make this call. Sorry, didn't mean to complicate that.
Good thoughts.
How did we decide to, Mr. Chair, pay for this? Is it from the balance of this year's
The
recycle
FRP.
a bicycle $500 authorized amount to spend on it. No, SWAC doesn't have a budget, so we could make this purchase from the Community Recycling Fund. I think the balance would allow for that, but we'd have to be recommending that for funding authority for that purpose to City Council. But I thought there was some discussion that since there was money left over from the $500 that had been approved for Recycle a Bicycle, there was discussion that we could use the money for the banner. I think it would be okay even if it's just a SWAC banner.
That's what I was gonna say, it's okay, but it's not.
Yeah, I just don't, right. So I think that would be okay. Carrie's not here, but I just don't know how much was the balance, whether it could have funded the two or not. We prefer not to have to go back to City Council for this.
Right.
But there's no rush because we're not doing another activity. So how about if, Cheryl, good job. To me, this is what I might recommend. I know there's a motion on the table, but maybe we table the motion till we can find out if we could get a deal on two. Next month, Carrie could help us with
Balance.
the money we're working with for this, and we could decide next month.
That's fine, yeah.
So it might be.
Go back to them. Genesis, I'll go back to them and then get a quote this thing next month.
Sorry.
That's okay.
For the
I'm just
sake,
trying to value engineer some.
for the sake of expedience on this, if the maker of the motion just wants to withdraw her motion, and if the second's in agreement,
Motion today.
Okay.
then we will, then that'll be off the table.
I know.
Yeah.
It'll still be good, so we're still gonna need it.
And Carrie, I'll talk to her, so we'll be organized about money.
Any additional comments on the
I didn't mean to.
banner? Very good, then we'll move on to the next item, which is the FY18 project updates. Conrad, do you want to come up and give the first one from Parks and Rec?
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, I am the contract administrator for the grant administrator for the Meridian Community Recycling Fund of 2018. And today I am reporting on behalf of Mike Barton with Parks and Recreation, who could not be here today, and his application and update of his program. He has notified me that the litter receptacles have been ordered and received. They have not yet, from my understanding, been installed at K Park, but that would be my assumption for the next step there. There's also a mention of a bench being ordered and not yet received. I'm not familiar with this bench, but Mr. Chair, Commissioner Pogue, I believe you are. I don't know if you have a word or two to say about that.
So both the receptacles and the bench are going to be installed at Discovery Park, which is the 77-acre park in southern Meridian. And Phase 1 is set to open later this year, I believe. So it's the Catalpa bench that the commission ordered as part of a group of similarly leafed benches that will be installed out there. So it's good news that our litter receptacles have been ordered and received. They'll be installed whenever it's appropriate for them to be installed at the park. And I hope the benches will be here and installed by the grand opening as well. So thank you, Conrad.
Thank you. And that's all I have.
Okay, and then this continues on with a discussion of the Meridian Library project.
Yes, and their representative, Jeannie, is here to give a presentation on the update of that project. So I will turn it over to her.
Welcome, Jeannie.
Thank you for having us here today. I'm going to start with handing out a packet of information for you that I'll cover. As I said, my name is Jeannie Gerwig, and I'm the finance manager at the Meridian Library District, and I'm here today to report to you on the progress of our tiny library. And we're all very excited about this, and it's exciting to see it actually starting to become a reality. So within the packet that is being distributed, the top sheets are just the progress report that were required for us, or that you guys had asked us to submit. Also, there's a picture of the interior of the tiny library. It's the proposed design. There's also a site map for the hill that just shows or illustrates where the tiny library will sit on the site next to the Y. There's also a project timeline, which I will go over briefly. And then the last sheet is our updated budget for the project. And highlighted in yellow is the MCRF portion of funds and how we'd like to use those for the container. So just to let you know where we're at with the project, all city and planning and zoning permits have been approved. Storage on site has actually started working with the repurposed container to get it ready for the site. And the color of the tiny library, I don't know if you had remembered, but the concept drawing showed a red library. The library is now going to be blue. So that has been a change. Currently, the concrete is actually being poured at the site. The container is due to be delivered July 12th. The interior work is scheduled for July 13th through August 6th, with the canopies, storefront glass, and overhead doors being installed August 6th through 8th. The painting on the interior and the exterior should occur August 9th through August 13th. Then the landscaping, the trim out, and the final inspections will be August 14th through the 16th. Finishing work is expected to happen August 17th through August 23rd. We will then be able to move in the furniture, books, and equipment August 24th through September 3rd, with our opening date of September 10th, 2018. So far today, we've received additional financial support from Penguin Random House. Gretchen and the Meridian Library District were awarded an innovation award for $10,000, and they generously added $1,000 on top of that award for book purchases. First Interstate Bank has donated $5,000, and we've had a private donation of $500. And we are continuing to apply for grants, have applied for different grants, and are waiting to find out information on those. We did hold a used book drive. We received 50 boxes of donated books. 200 children's books were added to the collection with an estimated value of about $3,000 to $4,000. And almost every children's book that we received as a donation was either added to our collection, added to summer reading prizes, or donated to local daycare centers where we provide outreach programs. We're just about ready to kick off the media messaging about the Tiny Air Library opening, and within that messaging, there will be information about recycling and trying to raise awareness about the recycling. We plan to carry forward that message into programs that will be done at the library as soon as it's opened. And then we will be in the process next to design a sign to be displayed at the Tiny Library. And at this point, I'm happy to answer any questions. I do have about a 4-minute video that I'd like to play for you. It was prepared by one of our librarians for our youth services, and we actually used it to apply for a grant, and I think you might find it interesting.
Why don't you go ahead and play the video?
express our thanks and appreciation of your support. And thank you for letting me be here today.
Thank you, Jean.
Members of the commission, do you have any questions for Jeannie or comments?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'm just wondering where you're showing this video.
This video, well, we've been showing it internally quite a bit because we were pretty excited about it. But it has been submitted with the grant application.
Okay.
It's the Brady Grant.
Okay.
And they encourage an innovative, fun type of an application, and this is what was prepared.
So you're gonna push it out on your website and other platforms to get, I think more people will contribute too if they see this and think, oh, this is really a great investment for our community, you know? Just a suggestion. I mean, I was totally.
It's a great suggestion.
It's about 3 minutes, so good job.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thanks.
Members of the commission, any further comments or questions? Well, thank you, Jeannie. That was excellent update, and we appreciate the success you're having. That completes our old business, and next we have our new business, item A, Republic Services second quarter summary in fiscal year 2018, and household hazardous waste recycling charts reviewed by Conrad McDonald of Republic Services. Welcome to the podium again.
Hello, thanks for having me up here again. Mr. Chair, Commissioners, if you don't mind me passing around these handouts. I was told there's an on switch. Should wake up, right? Move the mouse, he said. Anyone know the magic word?
Well, that's allowing you to go forward and backward if you can see what you're...
I'm probably moving it on there, huh?
You're on the website.
Sorry for the delay. I will plan on using the arrow keys to go forward and backward. If I get too far off track, just give me a shout. Okay, my name's Conrad McDaniel with Republic Services, Municipal Marketing Coordinator, stationed at the Meridian office at 2130 West Franklin Road in Meridian. Here to present to the Solid Waste Advisory Commission on today's topics will be recycling charts, the first and second quarterly numbers of fiscal year 2018, and household hazardous waste charts. Curbside recycled tons. Am I on the right slide? Okay, thank you. So far, the projection of curbside recycled tons would be at this point 4,820 tons for the year. And again, the year's not over, of course. Still 2 more quarters left to report. But right now the projection is about 10 tons less than what we did last year. Again, we'll see how the remaining 6 months shake out. But as you might see further in this report, there was a slight drop-off once the Green Sword announcement came out and people started to hopefully change their recycling habits regarding plastic. You see kind of a slight decrease about that time of the year. The cost of processing curbside recycling has also decreased. In fact, it's fallen pretty hard since the announcement of the Green Sword initiative and the restrictions that followed. Right now, we're projected to pay over $200,000 in processing costs for the year for the collected curbside recycled materials. Again, this is just a projection. There are still more months left in the year, and the price keeps dropping every month. And so that projection may continue to fall. As an example, the first month of fiscal year 2018, which was October 2017, the cost to process the materials was $5,200. As of last month in May, the cost was $31,400. Cost per ton, as you would expect, it looks a lot like the cost of processing curbside recycling. It's just on a per ton basis. Year-to-date average is negative $65, so $65 per commingled curbside recycling ton to process. And that's the average on the year. As you can also see, 4 out of the last 6 years, not including 2018, but 4 out of the last 6 completed years resulted in negative per ton cost. Moving on to the paper pulp index, which is an industry standard for the commodity pricing on recycled goods. The first slide here is mixed waste paper pricing. And there are 3 indicators, and my print's pretty small, but domestic pricing in blue, which would be regional pricing, West Coast. Foreign mixed waste paper pricing in what appears to be green on my printout here, and then in red would be the local price for mixed waste paper, and that would be the facility processing costs in Boise. It's pretty simple to see where the green fence came into play. Pricing was pretty good there in August, September, even in October. November it starts to dip, and December and after December and the turn of the new year is kind of a race to zero, and in fact below zero, which is the case in domestic and local markets. Foreign markets seem to be remaining just above zero, $3 to $5 per ton. Whether or not that's being realized, I don't know. That's just what's printed in the industry notebook. Moving on to the same pricing index, but for cardboard, same format with domestic pricing, foreign pricing, and local pricing on cardboard. It is doing relatively better than mixed waste paper, but you can see it still has that decreasing effect. In fact, over the last 13 months, it appears to have dropped or stopped increasing and falling. I believe it's now the best prices. Foreign markets, and that just went back over $100, I believe. Again, my printout here is pretty small, but it's in the handout I gave you. It's a bigger view. That would complete my recycling charts, the monthly recycling charts. Again, I handed out a packet that has 10 pages, and I just went over the last 5 or 6. So there's more information in there that breaks it down month by month, but I thought I'd provide a general overview. And my next topic would be reports on first and second quarter in Meridian. But before that, I'd like to take a second and address any questions at this point.
Mr. Chair, just one question. On the residential recycling tons by fiscal year, it's the projection is 4,820. Is that like gross, just what people put in the carts, or is that after contamination is accounted for, right? Is that actual recyclables or just everything that goes in the cart?
That is the number, oh, Mr. Chair, Commissioner Larson. That is the number reported to us from the recycling facility in Boise as to what our trucks have emptied on their floor. I think it's a gross amount. I do not think they take out the contamination part, okay. But I can't honestly speak on that.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I can answer that. Commissioner Larson, yeah, that is a gross amount, so that's what our trucks deliver. And then by month, certain, tons are pulled out to be disposed of. So, and again, the disposal runs about 10% on average. So they're getting it, or 13%, right in there is what we're seeing, so.
Members of the commission, any further questions on the recycling graphs? Continue, Conrad.
Thank you. Okay, so a brief overview of the first quarter and second quarter of 2018. For the record, I'll state that Q1 covers October, November, December of 2017, and Q2 is January, February, March 2018. Curbside recycling in first quarter saw an increase of 8%, 1,255 tons. It broke down to just under 30 pounds per household per month, which was a 1.9% increase. The rest of that 8% you saw in the tons, probably just general growth that we've been seeing in the area. But at that point, people were recycling more per household, and it was, for the quarter, $73,000 to process that material. Second quarter, what came the announcement or the introduction of the green sword and the restrictions that came along with that. And looking at the numbers, there's the first decrease in curbside recycling that we've seen in quite a while. So I think people got the message, and it looks like they started taking less out of it. Unfortunately, some other people were probably discouraged with the program and just recycled less, but it was the first decrease I've seen since reporting these numbers. So, however, it still costs $75,500 to process that material for the quarter. Curbside trash. No surprise here. Both Q1 and Q2 saw an increase in household accounts, saw an increase in tons, and an increase of pounds landfilled per household per month. On the second quarter report, included, as you'll find at the back of that, was addendum for resolution number 2036. That would be referencing the Ada County Commissioners switching from per yard charge to per ton on transfer trucks for our transfer station trucks that haul waste from Meridian Transfer Station up to the Ada County landfill. And they now pay a different fee, which would be weight-based instead of volume-based. That's all I have to comment on that, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Any more expansion on that before I continue? Mr.
Commissioners?
Neal's not here, so.
I think you can continue.
Okay. I was requested to put that, okay. All right, so commercial trash, does it say on, am I on the right slide? Sorry, kind of doing this in the blind here. As we've seen historically over the last few years, increase in commercial accounts, so more businesses coming to town and opening up services. That's good. With that brings increase in trash. So we also saw an increase in trash tons in both quarters. Commercial recycling, we continue to see participation rates increase. There was an increase in participation in Q1, and then another 1% increase in Q2. Increase in tons for commercial recycling in Q1, but a slight decrease of commercial recycling in Q2, much like the residential. But I don't know if it's for the same reasons or just different seasonality. But okay. Am I on industrial now? Perfect. Okay, for first and second quarter industrial roll-off trash was an increase, both in accounts and volume. So, historically, that's been the case as more construction and other construction, large projects come in town, have those roll-off services. Recycle tons have decreased in the first 2 quarters of fiscal year 2018. We have seen about 15 recycle accounts that are active in the Meridian city. So, transfer station reception. This would be waste taken to the Meridian transfer station, and it is decreasing after being on an increase for about 1.5 years. It started to decrease in late fiscal year 2017 as the Boise transfer station opened. So that would explain those numbers there. Okay. Household hazardous waste collection site there at Meridian transfer station. Q1 we saw a pretty sizable boom in households that were dropping off. In fact, 27% increase and a 16% increase in tons that quarter. and collecting 29 tons for the whole quarter. And then it leveled off in quarter number 2. Again, I don't know if that was seasonality, but we actually saw 4% decrease of households dropping off material on Mondays at the household hazardous waste site. And there was no change in tons. So same 21 tons collected Q2 2018 and 21 tons collected in Q2 2017. Okay. The annual costs are projected to be pretty similar to what's been reported in the last 2 completed years, fiscal year 2016, fiscal year 2017. Again, that's a projection. We still have the 2 heavy months to come, or the 2 heavy quarters, 3rd and 4th to come. But as it stands right now, we're looking at an annual cost of $75,500. That is my report. Mr. Chair, Commissioners, thank you.
Thank you, Conrad. Members of the commission, do you have any comments or questions for Conrad on his data report? Thank you, Conrad.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
With that, we've completed the business that's on the agenda. The next meeting is July 25th, 2018.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt again. Anyway, I went out and called signs, etc., and I negotiated with them for 2 banners. So I got the price for 2 banners to $116.41 with tax. Like $55 a piece plus tax. So instead of 68, yeah. He's like, we usually don't give a discount to like 3 or 4. I'm like, okay, then they're just gonna buy 1.
116 what?
116.41. So I don't know, but nobody knows how much money's in the
Right, so
in the fund. You still want to wait on
we'll
it?
bring it back next month, and Carrie will be able to have an answer.
Thank you, Genesis.
Yeah, thank you, Councilwoman.
I did talk to the same guy.
Mr. Chairman, I just have a question. I know the mayor and council supported curbside glass recycling, and we want to do a bill insert just announcing that this program's available. We were waiting to see, I know when Mr. Fisher came and presented about the drop site, there was discussion about that. So I wasn't sure if we were to say there's a cost for the drop site or no cost for the drop site. Do you guys have any direction there, or do you know if the council made a decision, or?
We've had no direction back
Okay.
from council at this time.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I think we're discussing it at our workshop meeting. Again, I think we said okay with the glass, with the household pickup, but we were waiting to decide on the drop site, and I think they were gonna have a hearing about that. I remember if it was during the budget, we've got so much coming up that week. So we have a regular meeting, which is our workshop meeting, and then we have our budget meeting hearing on the 12th. So I would say by the 12th,
Of July.
after that day, we hopefully will have an answer.
Okay. Thank you.
But I think it's the 10th that we're discussing. Look at my agenda.
I can work with Carrie on it.
Just wait till-
Yeah, that's what we want.
Members of the commission, are there any other topics that you are interested in that you'd like to go ahead and propose to us? If there are, please speak up, but as you know, we're always open to suggestions, and just drop it to Andrea or I, and we'll get it on the agenda. And
Mr. Chairman, I have an agenda topic, if it's sort of related to this, but through the Recycle a Bicycle project that Cheryl and I work on, we gave 2 bikes to city HR, 2 bikes to the wastewater treatment facility, and the last 2 bikes will be dropped off tomorrow to the water facility on 8th Street. And so it'd be good for us to, I think there's going to be a kickoff in the next couple of weeks for the city recycled bike health initiative or whatever. City employees will be able to ride these bikes. So it'd be fun to have them just, give us an update if it launched and if they're using the recycled bikes that we work on.
Mr. Chair, I was also going to bring in the pictures and wrap up the report on the bikes too. So that
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Rochelle, who's the city contact that you're working with?
Her name is Jessica in HR, and I
Okay.
don't know her last name.
Yeah, I do, okay. So you're recommending that she would come and give us a presentation?
Or anybody who, she's sort of the facilitator who gets the bikes to the facilities, and I don't know if maybe she'd be the right one since she's kind of organizing it, but I don't know. She just said that initiative, we started delivering bikes last year, so she said the initiative's kicking off in the next week or 2, and so I thought, it'd be interesting to see if they're using them and if they need more bikes or.
Okay, I'll check in with her.
So if there's no further items to recommend, then I will go ahead and call the meeting adjourned. It is 4:52.
We just got your right there.
Good job, CJ.
There's no agenda